it's Trisha again. Today I wanted to talk to you about the 3 things that I did that enabled me to retire early at 57. Hopefully these 3 things can be implemented in your own life and you too will set yourself up to be able to retire comfortably and earlier than you ever imagined. So the 3 things that were critical for me and that really helped me on my journey is number 1, getting disciplined with my finances and getting out of debt. You know, debt's one of those things that it's kind of like a slow process normally. You know, you reward yourself for little things here and there, and then eventually you look at your credit card and your balance has increased to something that you can't pay off in a month. So my recommendation would be to really look at your finances and try to prioritize paying off your debt. And equally as important is not accruing any additional debt, not signing paperwork to buy a new car, to, buy any big purchase, because those are the ones that take years to pay off, unless, you're somebody who is just rolling in the money, you definitely want to kind of be very disciplined about taking on any new purchases. So recommendation number 1 would be, do not take any new debt on and start paying off the debt that you've already accrued, because paying the minimal payment on things is just not going to allow you to ever pay off the debt, because the interest rates are so high right now that you're probably only paying the interest on the debt. So you definitely want to prioritize paying off your debt that you already have and not getting into any new debt. So that's number 1 in importance in positioning yourself to be able to retire early. Number 2, I would say most important would be having an emergency fund. You want to be able to feel comfortable that if something happened, you'd be able to cover it and not have to put it on a credit card. So if your car broke down, or you need new brakes, you would go to your emergency fund for that. You've saved enough money in that account so that if an emergency happened, you had a flat tire, you were able to go get that tire replaced. So your emergency fund is something that you put away. I personally use Marcus for my high yield savings account so that I can have my emergency money there, and it's also making money. Marcus pay anywhere from between 4% right now to 5% interest on your money. So it's not sitting in a bank account where you can access it easily. It's sitting in an online bank account where, it'll take a little bit more effort to get to, and that's a good thing, because you don't want to be going to it unless it's truly an emergency. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't, put away money for, the new tires that you're going to need next year. Start putting away that $50 every month in a savings account at your bank for that kind of stuff. Or if you're planning on going on a trip with your girlfriends or your friends, put away $25 out of your paycheck every month into a savings account so that you have that fun money to play with. But a high yield savings account for your emergency fund allows you to sleep better knowing that if something happened, you have money that you could pull out to cover that, and you wouldn't have to put it on a credit card. So that was critical for me, in knowing that I have money set aside for emergency. That way the other money that I had left over, I could put in investments, and I can put it in an account where it will grow and I don't really want to touch it, and it'll be available for me to use later on in life. So right now, the account that I'm referring to, this would be my 3rd recommendation, would be to open up a Roth IRA. And you can do that with any of the brokerage firms. You can do Fidelity, you can do Vanguard, or you can do Schwab. There's a variety. I would stick with, personally, I like a brick and mortar. I like one that has an office that I can go to, but there's online ones as well that, kind of offer the same thing. I would just go with one that's FDIC insured, so that in case, anything happened, that the money there, the government will make sure that you get that money back. So I would open up a Roth IRA, and you can only contribute up to, I believe it's like $5,000 or $6,000 for an individual. And then if you're over a certain age, you can do a little bit more. Yeah, so I would start investing in a Roth IRA. I would put at least $100 every paycheck into this account, and I would invest it in just a regular Fortune 500 index fund, an ETF. So for me, that's VTSAX. with Vanguard, but there's a variety of them. You know, Fidelity has their own and Schwab has their own. And they're typically, you know, they're pretty safe. They provide a nice little dividend usually, which, you know, you just let that get reinvested into the account so that it just grows. And, you know, the stock market over at least this past year, it was, I believe, at a little over 12%. So, you know, that's not to say that it can't go up and it can't go down, because it can. But if you leave it in there, historically, S&P has come back with over 10%. So my recommendation would be to open up a Roth IRA and start putting in at least $100 every month. And if you can put more in, put more in. But the idea is to put enough to max out how much you can put in every year. If you can max that out every single year, you will be super happy when you're 59 and a half and you have this invested money that's compounded over 30 years. So that is critical in being able to retire early, because at 59 and a half, you're able to start using that money and you don't have to pay any taxes on it. Now, say for example, you're 57, like me, and you need to access that money. Well, as long as it's been in the account for over 5 years, then you're able to get some of that money out. And you can always take out what you originally put in. So say in 30 years you've put in 100,000, you can take out that 100,000 because that's the money that you put in originally. So I'm not advising that you do that, but if you need the money before 59 and a half, you could always take it out without penalty. Now, any of the growth, you have to wait till you're older than 59 and a half. But that's, you know, the whole purpose for that is so that when you're ready to retire, you have that money available to you. So those are the 3 things that positioned me to be able to retire early at 57. If you implement these same disciplines, I think that you'll be in a very, very good position to retire early as well. So I hope these tips help. I hope that, you know, I am able to share my journey with you and the things that I've learned over time that have benefited me and allowed me to, you know, share this information with you. I'm not doing it because I need money. I'm doing it because I feel that every person is able to do this. It's just being disciplined enough and having the tools to know what you need to do in order to position yourself to be able to capitalize on these things. So hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.